Is your business growing? Welcome to the Grow Your Biz Show, where we interview strategic people who can help you to navigate your niches and perfect your pitches so you can sell more and grow your venture. Hi, I'm Paul Madsen, host of the program, and this is episode 49. We're already at episodes 49, Erica, and having a lot of fun with that. So it used to be called That Career Dilemma Show, but Erica, what's happened is during the course of all those episodes, I have seen the pattern where the way out of a career dilemma so often is to launch a venture, start a business.
Absolutely.
Have you seen that a little bit in your career?
Absolutely. You know, our best entrepreneurs are problem solvers at heart. And so they seek to find something that is a process that could be improved, that something that gets in the way of speed or revenue or morale, and they solve that problem.
They fix it. They call it career dilemma is a problem, or people who have it all as, a lot of the people I've interviewed too, Erica, are people who say, I always wanted to have my own thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm with Erica Wasserman. She is the co-founder of the Startup Collaborative, which is associated affiliate with the Omaha Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to let her tell you a lot more about that. But Erica, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And thank you for having us at their offices and in the beautiful downtown Omaha. Rain, thunder, trains. We're out on the balcony. We're having a great time here.
All the things.
Thunder agrees. All right. So what more fun can we have than that? So thanks for this tour of your office.
Yes.
You've only been in this facility how long?
It's been about 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we're fairly new here.
Yeah.
You know, don't look too close to the boxes. They're still sort of tucked away everywhere.
Partner does,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Erica, I am one of the co-founders of the Startup Collaborative here. We are a program of the Greater Omaha Chamber. And
Well, tell more what you do, but before you do that, tell us about you and your background, where you grew up, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Let's get to know, I can trust you.
Yeah. So I am accidentally in venture, if you may.
Oh, I like it.
I grew up here in Nebraska, in Lincoln, and like many, snobby little 18-year-olds said, I'm getting out, never coming home.
Yeah.
Joke's on me. I moved down to Kansas for school, and then I started my career in Texas at a really great institution for marketing and PR called the Richards Group. I begged them to hire me. Thankfully, they did.
Yeah.
And I learned from some of the very best.
What kind of company was that?
It was an advertising and marketing and PR agency.
Good background.
So it was fantastic. I really cut my teeth between the national media and then the local media and civic groups down in Dallas, Texas. Couldn't have learned from anyone smarter down there. So that was a fantastic venture. Spent a little bit of time in a couple other spots. Ultimately got married to my now husband, and he moved us back home.
Back to Nebraska.
Back to Nebraska.
Well, I'm sure the grandparents appreciate that.
Yeah, you can't tell them about any job offers if you don't expect to take them.
Well, what was your first gig back in Cornhusker State?
Yeah, I worked for an agency here called Baylor. It was a great agency. It is a great agency. I still think it's one of the best in the country.
PR advertising again?
PR and advertising. Okay. So I spent about a year kind of assessing the landscape in Omaha. What is it like here? What are the news stories? What are the trends? And ultimately set out on my own. Thankfully, in that pursuit of setting out on my own, I was paired up with someone who has become one of my greatest career forces, a man named Mark Haysbrook. He hired me to look over the growth of some of his earliest stage venture capital investments. And
so you were working, the viewers like to hear about how things happen for them, for you, and they can compare how things happen to them. You were working as a PR, sales, marketing support person, ran into Mark, got to know him, and the two of you decided there was a void in the community or something?
After we had worked together for a while, which I think all great partnerships always kind of start with some test cases, like how do we work together, how do we see the world, and how can we solve problems together. Mark and I set out to solve density and solve the gap between seed and Series A rounds here in Omaha for tech startups specifically. And
explain, some of our viewers may be real new to entrepreneurship and not familiar with seed money and Series A and stuff like that. Explain that briefly.
Absolutely. So in venture capital, or in startup communities, specifically with high growth, high tech companies, a means for massive, really accelerated growth is to acquire some venture capital funding. And so Mark was in that business. He would put me on his investments to kind of grow them at any cost. And so we got very good at early stage growth, frankly. But what we realized in that process is that there was still some ingredients missing in this ecosystem here in Omaha. So we set out to solve that, and we founded Omaha Startup Collaborative, which quickly became the home to most of the community startups, frankly. And so that was going pretty well. You know, everything can be done better.
I'm going to interrupt and say, just so people know, tell us a little bit about Mark's background.
Oh, sure. Mark is a venture capitalist, really very active seed stage investor here in the Midwest, probably one of the better known in the Midwest. He founded a venture capital fund called Sunday Venture Capital, which now he runs with his business partner, Beth Nicole. They have 3 funds, I think about $50 million under management right now, in which they invest in really early stage tech ventures.
And some of his early wins were what? Companies?
He was a co-founder at giftcertificates.com, hayneedle.com. I think I tease him a lot. He was the founder of everything. So.
Well, that's certainly a good person to work with for what you were doing.
Great
so you guys launched this startup collaborative with the intent of helping who?
Our sole focus is on entrepreneurs who want to solve a problem that can be solved with software at its core. And not entrepreneurs that are looking to create a lifestyle business or something that's just income for themselves, but entrepreneurs who really want to create a high growth company. So we're trying to find and trying to inspire the next Huddles, the next Builder Trends, the next Flywheels. We see those companies as major job creators, high wage employers, and the type of employers that offer skills, experiences that are hard to replicate. They're exciting, they're innovative, they leverage sort of new trends and technology.
Well, Nebraska has several great examples of success stories there. Should we let the train pass or not? We'll worry about the train later. I mean, any other examples that we have of maybe lesser known one? I mean, everybody's heard of Huddle
there's some that are up and coming right now that I'm super excited about. What you viewers can't see is we're sitting outside of 2 offices that are inside the startup collaborative. And the team that occupies those 2 offices is a team called Leverage RX. So the problem they're solving, Leverage RX. Okay. So imagine a prescription.
Sure,
they recognize that doctors, upon graduation from medical school, have a really kind of complicated financial journey, right? They tend to have a tremendous amount of student loan debt, but they also have fairly high salaries. They have unique opportunities for insurance and mortgages, and all of that together is a pretty confusing
It's a lot for a 26-year-old or whatever.
It absolutely is. So Leverage helps doctors and physicians really map out a financial plan that makes a ton of sense. I'm super proud of the team. I think the founders are some of the best I have seen in the market.
How many employees do they have now?
They are hiring for 3 roles.
Wow.
So they're going from their 2-person team to a 5-person team, and it's all kind of overnight. So
that's all exciting. Yeah, and who knows where it can go? I mean, that's an absolute solution to a problem. And they found it and they figured it out. And software as a core. I love that. Tell the viewers what that means.
Yeah, so it's a great question, Paul. You know, you see software as the piece of that customer experience that can't be replicated. There is no human interaction, right? It's all automated. While that brand experience might be phenomenal, you don't really even think about the fact that you're just interacting with a web platform. What we are focused on is that company that has software at the core. And so that can be like a Leverage RX that helps those doctors exclusively through their web platform. They get no interaction with the person, map out their financial journey. But it could also be like a founder we're working with now, who I'm a tall woman, she is a tall woman. She said it's a problem that tall women can't find clothing that is long down to their ankles or long enough in their core. So she's creating an entirely web experience down to how a human is tailored, right? How do I measure the length of my shoulder to my elbow? So software at the core of her business is a really competitive advantage, especially in the retail environment where...
Well, that's awesome. And I want viewers, if you're a viewer and you're saying, well, I'm not a software guy, I'm not a software gal, I don't know IT, I don't know technology, but these things, what problems are there out there that you can solve? And like Nate Watson says, I keep quoting him several times after, he says, if you're not a technology guy, get a salesperson. If you're not a salesperson, get a technology person.
Absolutely,
and you know, just because you don't have some set of skills, nobody has it all, do they? It's all about the team, right?
It's starting up as a team sport, and I think people view entrepreneurship as this really difficult, risky thing, and frankly, the first step is not that hard. I mean, it is
Well, an
what
idea
problem do you want to
are a
solve?
dime a dozen, but
Yeah.
go beyond that. What's next?
Yeah, so in our program, the Startup Collaborative methodology, we really help entrepreneurs go from a problem that they want to solve to finding product market fit. And what that means is, let's work together on what problem are you solving. Can you name, I don't know, a couple dozen people that have that problem? Let's talk to them about the problem. Let's figure out how painful it really is. Do they need a migraine pill, or do they merely need a vitamin? And how do we kind of help you as an entrepreneur make sure that whatever you're crafting as a solution to a problem really becomes that Excedrin or that Tylenol extra strength? And it's more than just your daily multivitamin.
Yeah.
We want something that is a true painkiller that helps you really find that first market fast and do that without spending a lot of money.
Perfect. I'm going to just summarize that. And I know it's profound because we had thunder and trains.
Oh yeah,
as you said it. I mean,
things.
lightning. You see the lightning? Yeah. So I'm so glad we have Erica. What problem are you going to solve? Again, you don't have to be a software guru, but what problem are you solving? What team can you surround yourself with?
Yeah.
And what are the solutions that you provide? Like you talk about with the vitamins and so on. That's awesome. Talk about next, please, the whole idea of market fit. What that means to you, what that means to an early stage entrepreneur.
I think that is, it's kind of a loaded question, right? But
We've got time.
So what I will say is, studies upon studies have been done as to why entrepreneurs fail, and there are 3 core reasons. The first and the most prominent reason is lack of product market fit. And it just kind of breaks my heart because it's completely avoidable, right? It is totally avoidable to not find product market fit. And so right now we're working with just over 50 entrepreneurs. 50 entrepreneurs.
Wow.
On about a monthly basis. We work with 50 entrepreneurs. Since we launched in 2017, we've worked with just over 150 entrepreneurs.
Wow. You know what? You bring something up which we didn't complete the cycle of working with Mark, then the chamber, and explain that part. We'll back up to the Mark, the reasons for failure, but backing up to
and the reasons for failure kind of fit into this.
Oh, they do, yeah.
Yeah, so if more entrepreneurs fail because they don't have product market fit, and because they haven't properly assigned a team or surrounded themselves with people that can help them do it all, those are avoidable problems.
Right.
And frankly, we had a lot of players in the ecosystem, Mark and I's organization included, that were solving elements of that, but kind of out of order and in a sort of distracting, not the right problem to solve right now manner.
Right.
So thankfully, Nathan Preheim, who's my co-founder now in the Startup Collaborative, brilliant at looking at a macro environment and saying, here are the systems that can help this macro environment elevate. One of which was, we need to better fill our startup funnel. So we need to be more helpful as entrepreneurs, see a problem we're solving, to help them find product market fit, or not, right? There's nothing more detrimental that you can do than carry a zombie company forward. So how do we...
I love it. Don't carry a zombie company forward.
No, let's eliminate
the
zombies.
And that's my problem sometimes with people who get venture capital. They go, oh, we got our new round of capital, and it only prolongs the death. And I love your phrase, zombie company. I'm going to use that a lot.
Yeah, and venture capital at best is really meant to take you now know, in our model, you should know how you get your first 100 customers. And you should know how, from that 100, how to get 1,000. The process and the formula might be optimized within, but frankly, it's not this massive overhaul. It doesn't tend to be. So if you're acquiring some venture capital, it means you know how you're going to spend that money to get to your first 100,000 customers.
Yeah,
awesome. So we assembled these different parts and pieces, said we got to do better by the entrepreneurs, we've got to make it easier, less distraction-free, less risk up front. You should be able to find product market fit. Honestly, you should be able to find product market fit for $100 or less. And you don't need to build a website out. You don't need to start with your app. First, start with the customer. Get a sense of their voice, get a sense of their pain points, match a value prop up that you think fits. Worry about the features and functionality later. Put it on paper.
Yeah. I love what Taylor Krinsky said during my interview with him. He said he had a professor tell him, and again, he's 19, 20 years old. Professor tell him, talk to 100 people about this.
Absolutely.
When you said you don't need to spend $100, well, that's the way to do it. Talk to 100 people.
Talk to 100 people.
And he did. They went knocking on doors. So what do you sell and get out of here? But guess what? They learned a lot, and that's a form of iteration as they work toward the that market fit that you talk about.
You do.
And the chamber, how do they fit into your evolution as an organization again?
Yeah, that's a
I'm
great
not going to let you get away from that.
No. And I'm glad you asked it. So we're really lucky in Omaha, Nebraska. We have a super progressive chamber who is consistently pushing the limits of what the chamber model is, you know? And so thankfully when Nathan and I, Mark Haysbert and others came together and said, we think there's a better way, we can iterate and we can do better in this community at home growing entrepreneurs, at helping them find a product market fit faster and then accelerating their growth faster. You know, we came into Randy Phelan and David Brown and sort of said, here's what we know.
And who are they?
They are the former SVP of Economic Development here in Omaha, and then the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce.
Perfect.
And so we went to them and said, here's what we know. We've talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs. We've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs.
Right.
We can tell you why those hundreds failed, why they didn't.
Yeah.
And we also went to the venture capital community across the Midwest and said, what does a great investment look like to you?
Right.
From that, we developed our methodology and then said, we got to roll this out. Are you guys in? And David and Randy said, you who know this customer better than any of us, believe it to be true, have the data to support it, we're all in. We'll push all the chips your direction and we'll make it possible. And so it's really a competitive advantage in Omaha. And since that bet that they made on us, we've worked with 150 plus entrepreneurs. I'm really proud of how we actually acquire new entrepreneurs. I mean, you talked about your viewers are in this interesting point of inflection in their career. What do I do next? And so I want to work with them. I want to...
Well, tell me, I mean, you have worked with 150 people. Give me an example, an avatar of 2 or 3 of them. How you found them, what you're doing for them.
Absolutely. So a couple of my favorites are actually heading up supply chain here at a local Fortune 500. So they're the guys that are responsible for getting a shipment to and from where it needs to be through planes, trains, and automobiles on time. And under increasing scrutiny now in this Amazon Prime era, that something can't arrive too early or too late.
Okay.
So that was the problem that they solved. We've got planes, trains, and automobiles. We have these really tight time constraints. How do we get within those? So we, as an organization, can do better. They also...
And is he working on his own business doing that?
He is.
Okay.
So he recognized that that wasn't something that Fortune 500 was going to solve on their own. But he recognized it was something that other companies that manage supply chain have a real pain point around it. So we worked with him to devise his customer discovery process. How do you find the other versions of you? How do you talk to them to get more insights from them? How do you really fine-tune what your value propositions are to them? And right now we're working with them on their initial prototype, their minimally viable prototype, which is so exciting, guys. It's right now it's wireframes.
That's great. Talk about minimal viable prototype.
Yeah. So in our world, to get to a yes or a pre-sold customer, we actually do not believe that you need a full-blown product. You don't need to go out and hire a dev shop to build out your app for you. Rather, what you need to do is have on paper, this is what it might do. And at this point, we're our entrepreneurs. They've talked to their customers 3 times already. They have a relationship, right? That customer has helped them.
Well, for instance, this guy with the logistics, he understands the situation. He sees the problem.
Well, he's talked to his peers. I mean, that is the biggest thing. He's talked to them 3 or 4 times. And
again, talk to those 100 people.
Yes, but keep talking.
Yeah.
You know, is it a problem that you have? Oh, okay, it is. Do you mind if I come back with a solution? Hey, here's a solution. Does it at face value sound right? In words. Okay, cool. What's missing? All right, thank you. Now, I took that feedback from what you said was a problem, what we went through as a solution. I put it in some mock-ups of what it might be. How does this feel? Does this solve your problem? I took your insight and I put it here.
So often people, especially entrepreneurs and maybe the first-timers or new ones, they feel like, oh, I've got this great idea. This great idea. No one knows this idea. I really know the solution, and they want to go build out this huge thing. And again, it's a zombie company after they do because they didn't really solve the problem, didn't really iterate, didn't listen to their customer. And so I love your plan, and that's what you're talking about with the market fit.
Absolutely.
Going back to reasons for failure, you saw lack of
product market fit, and then team.
The team. We talked about team a little bit. Any more about team?
Yeah, let's talk about team. So, this is another perception, is that you have to have the whole team in place right away. Well, what are you convincing that team to buy into? If you haven't,
staff is expensive.
Staff is expensive, and like, let's figure out if the market wants what you're selling right out the gate. So, a lot of times we coach our founders. You know, we have a 15-step sort of process. Not every founder will make it to step 15. In fact, only 15% of our founders make it to 15 steps. Okay. Founders earn their way through, and what I mean by earning their way through is the market is validating that they should keep moving a concept forward. So by the time that our founders really have to worry about team, they should be comfortable enough. They should have enough data from the market that they could go to a chief technology officer, or they could go to a business development officer or a potential CEO and say, all right, I saw a pain point, I came up with these value props, I put this prototype in front of them, this is where we land, I have 20 people who are really interested in this product, I need to build it up. Okay. I need to sell it bigger. I need to do these things. Do you want to join my team? I am not. I'm not coming to you with hope and a dream. I'm coming to you with some real traction.
Well, it's if you watch Shark Tank, they say like, oh, the contestants come on and they say, and 1% of this $2 billion market is X dollars, and the sharks just roll their eyes and say, well, that doesn't mean anything. Whereas the process you're talking about, the steps by step by steps, and so you put your clients, what do you call them, customers, clients,
our fellows,
your fellows, through this process.
We do.
And the 150 people are.
So what we end up doing, what you'll
run?
see, there are different stages. Right. You know, some have opted out because the market just said,
but better to learn early on, right?
Frankly, it should happen in 30 days or less.
Don't want.
Let's just rip that Band-Aid off quick and figure out if the market wants it.
Wow.
But yeah, you know, there's a lot of really good founders we're working with that just haven't landed on the concept that they want, and so we're in a really privileged position where we can sort of create these pseudo benches of people. You know, here's a great technology officer. Here's a really great business-minded leader. Their first one didn't validate, but they're really awesome in a team, and we've had several teams form within, you know, we call our fellows the tribe. Form within the tribe. So a concept will die, market didn't want it, but God, that's a good founder, right?
Well,
and so like, get that founder on this one.
It's not about failure if you keep getting up and learn what you've learned from that failure.
Well, it's like,
you only fail when you quit and stop, right?
It's only, it's a game of experiments.
Yeah,
so how do you design the experiment to get the market fit, and then how do you find the team? So team plays a big role. We really encourage founders, don't beg someone to build something for you if there's no market for it. So how do you kind of get to that?
That's good. Yeah, I mean, you look at any successful company, either a long-established one or a fairly new one, in the technology space, and they are constantly iterating. I mean, you could pick some examples better than I, perhaps, but a company that looks completely different today than it did just 2 years ago. Something they've done a 180 just to survive, right?
Yeah. It's interesting, you know, the iterations are so important. One thing I love about, you know, our local darling of a startup is Huddle. And I think those founders are just brilliant. But I think they're brilliant because they've invested a lot of time in customer. And so I was grateful, John Wards, who's one of the co-founders there, has spent some time sort of helping craft vision for all of us. And he says to our team, every new Huddle employee, there are hundreds of employees now. Every new Huddle employee has to get out on the football field with the coaches. I don't care if they're the developer or if they're in sales or support or otherwise. Get out on the field once a year and listen to the coaches.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So the iterations have to come from, your customers will tell you what they want.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to ask and listen.
You bet. And listen is so key. It's so critical. And that's what you're talking about with this iteration process. I heard a podcast the other day that they were interviewing a CEO of a larger company and said, you know, what is your main priority? And he said, my main priority is the customer. And they laughed and snickered because the CEO hasn't met with a customer in years. His priority is the team, to manage the people, to go out and be part of the customer. Anyway, you reminded me of that when you talked about getting out on the football field. Are you getting out on the football field to do some iterations for yourself? Are you listening? Are you paying attention to what's out there? Because the rain is coming hard, so that means we're prosperous here. We're gonna grow. That's what rain gets. Well, Erica, we need to start wrapping up here. Was it number 3? Was there a third reason for failure?
Lack of funding. And I'm actually most excited that you're asking about this one. So right now, we have just announced that we are going to invest in startups. So if you are a
Really?
founder,
Wow.
yeah, it's a huge
Wow.
deal, Paul.
Where does the funding money come from?
We have
the Chamber's a public entity.
well, the chamber was able to work with Chris Murphy, Betsy Murphy, and Daniel Murphy, the first Westbrook's. And they said, you know what, we're going to invest $300,000 in you.
Wow.
And then Invest Nebraska, which is a state-led venture fund, said, we'll match that dollar for dollar. So
Wow.
we now have $600,000 worth of venture funds to put into our startups that have found product market fit, that have the team, that are working against their first 25 or so customers. And so my challenge to you all is if you see a problem that you want to figure out if the market exists for, and you know that there's some way that technology could be at the core of that, or software could be at the core, find us. We're at startupcollaborative.co.
How do people reach you? Yes.
Startupcollaborative.co. Super lightweight form to help us get an idea of what you're noodling on. Let's work together because there's literally no better time to solve a problem than startup.
Well, and there's funding available, and I love it. I don't know if I can possibly summarize all the wisdom that Erica has thrown our way today. I'm going to try. I'll need my notes. She talks about first of all, the basics. What problem are you going to solve? And do you have a market fit for that problem? Because one of the three problems that lead to zombie companies, I love it, I'm going to use it, is that lack of market fit. Then she talks about the lack of a team and not having the right people in the right place and at the right time, because you get it too soon or too late, you're your problem. And you got to keep iterating, got to keep listening. And lastly, funding as you grow. I love it how the Startup Collaborative is interested in funding the people who have 25 customers. Because you're really testing it. I've got 27 great ideas. I could keep you up till noon today hearing all about. But
show me the market.
Do I have the 25 customers? And so.
Well, and we do that intentionally.
That's
we
beautiful.
don't want to be the only money that's growing your business. We want you to have some sustainable, scalable income that is growing it too. So
I hear so many startups talk about, if I just get funding, get a customer.
Right, get a customer.
If you get a customer, you're proving that you have a market fit, right?
Yeah, it's so true, Paul.
Erica, you've been a great guest and a wonderful person to talk to. Lovely offices, great rainstorm, good skyline.
How about that?
Couldn't be better. I hope you play this episode again and again for all the nuggets that are in it. Erica Wasserman of the Startup Collaborative, part of the Chamber of Omaha Commerce. How do they reach by phone?
Great question.
Nobody knows it's the phone.
Find us at startupcollaborative.co.
How do they reach you by keyboard?
Yeah, it's startupcollaborative.co. It's literally the best spot. You get a really good handle on us.
I've seen Erica perform at is that the right word? At a Midwest Venture Capital conference. She was on a panel that heard the startups, and she was just brilliant there, just like she is today. I hope you take this opportunity to be in touch with her with your great idea, because we all know that you have it and you can make it happen. Erica, thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming. We'll see you on the next episode of Grow Your Business.